Hello, good evening, good evening, good evening. It's your girl, Kristen R. Harris, and I'm super excited this evening to come before you. I'm gonna give you guys just a few minutes to find me an audience. I let Facebook find me an audience. We're streaming on Facebook and on YouTube this evening. But give you guys just a few minutes. This is going to be a quick chat. I have one of my author friends ready to on standby to come in and to chat with you guys. This is something that if you've been around and you've been on this page for a while, you know we have done the author's tea for a really long time. Hey Jason, hey Lisa. We've been doing the author's tea for several years now, but we haven't been live in quite some time because I mean, y'all know my life, okay? You all know all the things that I have endured and how I was just, fighting, but I'm back. And so I'm trying to get back on my square. And this is a part of that process. So I'm super excited. Hey, Vanessa. Super excited this evening because I have one of my author friends here with me. Um, Amazing woman. This cookbook that she has written. It's full of stories and of amazing recipes because she is a phenomenal chef. But I am not going to talk about her too much because I want to bring her on the screen. But this is our pop-up edition of the author's tea. So you guys tune in. Just spend a few moments with us. We're not going to be before you long, but I wanted to share this moment, share this platform, and allow you to be exposed to some authors that you may not know of. Okay, normally I would do this when their books first come out, but again, she released last year, so I was just in the middle of all the things that I was traversing through. But hey, better late than never, and this is the time that was specifically set aside for her. So without further ado, I am going to bring on Chef Jelian Steward. Hey,
Hello.
girl.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good, good. So, those people who are tuning in who know us
Mhm.
both, then they know us because we went to high school together. We are both Kenwood Broncos. Shout
I
out to
mean,
Kenwood. So we go way back to high school. I know we look really young, but we have been out of high school for a couple of decades plus now.
whoa,
So,
whoa, whoa, whoa on the numbers. Wait a minute.
I
Wait a
know when
minute.
I say it like that, it sounds intense, right?
Yeah,
But that's okay. Look, we look good, okay? We look
that's right.
amazing and we are doing amazing things. So it is okay. I know that I don't know about you, but I come up in around women who would never tell people their age and they would be like it's such a secret and they didn't want anyone to know how old they are. But I proudly let people know because this day and age, there's so many people not making it to
Yeah,
I'm 42. I'll be 43 this year. So many people not making it to this age. So I don't mind telling people. So praise the
that's
Lord for
fair.
that. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. I'm here to get into it with you, Jill. Okay,
Okay.
can I call you Jill?
Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so this is Jill to me, but she's Chef Jillian to all of you guys. Um, I had the pleasure of working with Jill last year as she birthed out her book, A Good Conversation About Life and Food. This is actually the paperback edition that I have here in my kitchen. It's a little dirty because it's a cookbook, and we're going to talk about it in a second. But she
Mm-hmm.
has a beautiful hardback copy as well. So, Jill, tell us a little bit about yourself and then tell us about your book, A Good Conversation About Life and Food.
Okay. Well, I am Jillian Stewart. I am many things. I am a chef. I am a published author. I am a nurse by trade. I am also a business partner and manager for Bernard Terrell Cigars, which is my husband's brand. Um, I'm a mother to three boys. Got one more, on his way out the door. And I just love to cook and I love to communicate through my food. And that's what my book was about. Just really how I communicated and got through life through food, basically.
Wow. Yeah. So, first of all, let me just say the stories in this book very rich, and I love how she brings together the conversation about life and food because most of the times, this is where we connect over food, whether we're having we're celebrating a momentous occasion, something that's joyful. Like I just celebrated my daughter's
That's right.
graduation. Of course we went out to eat, right, because this is how
Right.
we celebrate. Or even if it's a not so joyous occasion and we may be mourning the loss of someone, or even if you having a bad day, your girl like, hey, come on, let me call you up, come over, I'll
Right.
make you a meal, or let's go out to eat. So it is around the table that we're able to really have these conversations about
Hmm.
life, and as you said, about food. So I know that you share some very personal stories in here. Just give us an example of maybe one of those things that you kind of touch on, and why you thought it was important to share.
Well, one of the things that I touched on was me finding love again. I thought that that was important to share because I feel like we all experience life on different levels, and sometimes heartbreak is very challenging to get over. And whatever our past might be leading up into our future, it might block us from really just opening ourselves up to receiving. So I wanted to be transparent in the book when I talked about my husband and finding love again, because I wanted to ensure other people who have been through like a bad divorce or just a relationship period that once you get past that, there is life and love on the other side of that.
I love it. I love it. And let me just say, Jill knows I said this at her event. These two right here, her and her husband, power couple. Okay, if you do not know them, this is your introduction. Get in tune with this couple. They are doing some amazing things, that she already told you. She has a catering. She caters phenomenal food, beautiful presentation. Like her
Thank
presentation is
you.
top notch. Like, how you go and you see food and you're like, I know it's good before I even eat it, because of the way that it is just presented and laid out before you.
Mhm.
He does amazing work. They have the cigar shop in this on the south side in the city of Chicago. As you can see, she's an author. Like, they're doing so many amazing things. Just some good people all around. So I would encourage you, if you don't know them, get in tune with them
Thank
immediately.
you so much.
Yes, yes. So, like I said, this is my personal copy of the book, and so it's a little tattered and dirty because it's in my kitchen, right? And I'm cooking
Right.
with it. And
Hmm.
one of the recipes, I've tried a couple of things in here, but one of the recipes I just told my sister we're gonna run this back are these grilled lamb chops. Okay,
Hmm.
now,
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
don't eat meat,
Hmm.
but the people who have had this, because I still cook
Okay.
meat for people, they're like, "Oh my God, these lamb chops are amazing." And I was just telling my sister, because we were creating a menu for a Father's Day brunch that we're gonna do, and I was like,
Okay.
"Grill these lamb chops because the men in our life will definitely appreciate them." So
They
I
will.
right, girl. So I can attest to how amazing these recipes are in this book. I want to know, like, what prompted you? Like, what was the thing that said to you, Chef, you got to put all of these into a book? You got to compile not just your stories, but also these amazing recipes that you've developed or that have been passed down to you.
Mm. It was hard. It was hard. It was writing this book was like growing pains. Like I had to grow through some things to kind of get it out, to kind of chop down all of the recipes and kind of hone in to what you wanted to do because you didn't want to be boxed in. So that's why it's so diverse on the cooking side, or to even be as transparent or open with those stories. You don't want to be a whole Debbie Downer, but you want to be real enough where people are able to relate with you. And
Yeah.
so basically, this a good conversation about life of food is a relationship. You know what I'm saying? It helps you build a relationship, of understanding what you can do with food, how you can cope, how you can grow, how you can understand. But it was definitely a situation, me just getting it out though, you know.
Okay, well, let's talk about you getting it out. So, what is the process like? How long had you been carrying this, like, in your mind and in your heart?
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Uh-uh.
This is not like this is my first published work, but I have a body of work that I never published because I felt like it was just too personal, right? So maybe that was my own little thing to myself, but I've been holding on to this at least over a decade. I kind of
Wow.
felt like there was some things that I was going through in my life and that I was coping with, and I realized that other people were also going through that, but they wasn't coping so well, and you know how you look at somebody when life is going good for them, you're like, man, I wish that was me. People was
Mhm.
looking at me like that, and I'm like, yo, I'm over here killing, I'm over here just almost out of it. But I wanted people to understand, how do I keep going? But what do I tap into? And it's not only you. You know what I'm saying? That was most important for people to understand. You're not the only one. Life hits everybody. You just gotta make sure you swing back.
So what I hear you saying is that this book is not just like a book of recipes. This is therapy.
Yes,
This is something to help you cope through those life circumstances.
yes,
When you
absolutely.
find yourself in that position of not feeling like you'll ever find love again, like the stories and the recipes in here remind us that we will get our shot again. Like it's not over for us. Our
Right,
time is not over. We're not too old or all those things.
right.
That's really cool. And I'm talking to you because I've delved into this book, so I know what's in here. But for
Hmm.
those others who haven't and who are watching, I want you
Hmm.
guys to understand that this is more than just a cookbook, y'all.
Right.
Like this is really a therapy session. You're gonna laugh. You may even give it a side out like, girl, what? Or, and you may shed a tear because there's some very heartfelt moments that you share, even about your grandmother and
Mhm.
how she inspired so much of what's in this book and so much of who you are
Yeah.
as a phenomenal cook, right?
Yes, absolutely. And as a woman.
And as a woman.
And
I
as a
love
woman. Yeah.
it. So you said that you had this concept. You
Hmm. Where'd you go? Uh, so you're gonna hold on.
Okay, I'm back. Can you
Okay,
hear
got it.
me? Okay. I
Yep.
don't know what's going on. But yeah, so you say you've been carrying this thing for at least a decade.
Yes.
Now, I just said we've been out of school 2+ decades. So at
Mhm.
least half of that you've been carrying this book.
Yes.
What was it about 2022 that caused you to actually push this thing out?
Other people needed it more than I needed it. It was needed more by others more than I wanted to do it. I felt like it was an assignment because it was almost nagging at me the more I put it off. I continued to grow through things. I continued to get phone calls from friends and people I didn't even know, which was weird. But about certain life situations. And I was just like, this is needed. It's not just for me. And once I got me out of the way, I was able to get it out. Because you're so busy second guessing yourself, well, what will people think? Or what's she gonna say? Or what if she don't talk to you again? And I'm just like, at the end of the day, I'm like, I keep talking to people, but this is telling me I gotta get it out. Is not even for me. So once I start writing for other people to understand that it's not only them, and giving them a gift and even teaching them how to cook, so I can stop getting those calls too about recipes. you know, I was
Saving you
able
some
to,
time, right?
yes, I was able to birth this thing.
So in that process, because I heard you earlier say that it wasn't easy and it's hard.
Hmm.
How do you move past that? Like how did I know you said that you kept in mind that it's not just for you, it's for other people. But what exactly does that pushing through that hard to write? Because I know a lot of people, when they say I got a book to write, it's generally about personal stories, personal trauma.
Hmm.
Most people want to share like things they have overcome, or how they got out of a dark place, or how something may have been designed to completely throw them off, but they were able to recover.
Right.
Those are hard stories to write, and a lot of times you got to relive those hard moments to write that story. Like how did you work through that?
Um, well, one, I sat down and I said I need to be accountable. And I needed some help to be accountable. And then you posted the class. And I said, well, if anybody is gonna like buck against me, it's gonna be Kristen. She's not gonna, all these mean faces and all these little moves that I go through, none of that is going to phase her, and she's gonna hold me accountable.
I'm not
And not
scared of
only that,
you.
exactly. And that was the thing. I'm like, I needed somebody who was gonna, help me get past that. And so once you put the class up, and after seeing it so many times and pushing it off, I'm like, nah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do it. So I rearranged my schedule. I just, once you put the money in and you set your mind to do it and you set aside the time, it's pretty much done then. So,
I'm so happy you brought that up. So let's talk about that because this
okay.
class she's referring to, that's the Scribe Tribe. We did a writers retreat last year. Now, of course, the
Yes.
goal was to do one quarterly, but again, y'all know life be life, and so that
Mhm.
went out the window. But I'm so happy she got in when she did because that's why we have this book here.
Yes.
So being a part of that group, tell me exactly what that did for you and how it helped you get to the finish line.
It was scary. Initially, it was scary because you got somebody else looking at you. And when you find yourself always kind of taking the lead on things and stuff like that, to kind of step back and be submissive to a certain situation, to kind of give your all to it, was kind of challenging. And then you got to work past all your excuses every time you're tired. Every time you don't feel like it's good enough, going through all those negative things that just pop in your head when you're on your way to greatness, because that's the only time it happens, when you're on your way to greatness. And then throughout the course, you would assume, right, that it was like super, just like, drill sergeant. That's not what that was. That was like a healing session. That was a breakthrough session. It was a help to understand where you are session. It was just like, birth this thing, like, what are you holding on to it for? So it was confirmation more than anything. So
Mm-hmm.
that, whew, child, I had to grow through that thing, but I dedicated every session, didn't miss one, was on time for everything, and it was by far one of the best things I accomplished, because at the end, you feel liberated. And when you pop that bottle on that last book, ooh boy, oh boy, oh boy. It was
Yes,
great though. Yes.
yes. You know what? First of all, hearing that, thank you for sharing that because that makes me feel really good to know that um, what I have is beneficial and it
Yes.
helped you. I like to tell people this thing works. I know that the formula that I share it works if you do the work. Now, if you don't
If
do the
you
work,
do
then
the
it's not
work,
gonna work.
you
I
have
can't.
to do
You
the
gotta do the
work.
work,
You
but
gotta
it
put
was.
the work in.
Yes, it works. It works. And I'm super
Yes.
excited because I have coming up in the next few weeks, I have some other people that we're going to talk to who have worked this thing and they have produced a book and they're out here and they're selling, they're showing up at vendor events, they're being called to speak. They're doing all of these things.
Yes,
And that's
yes, that
because
would be
they
me.
did. Yeah, hey, that would be
Yes, I
Chef
started.
J.
I start this month. That would be me. I have a bunch of book fairs lined up, speaking engagements. So yes, I mean, honestly, when it's time for part two, I'm doing it again, just on the strength, because I know that I can get it done in that time frame. I know I can dedicate myself to it. I mean, please, y'all don't understand. I can't highlight it enough.
That makes me feel so good. And what she said, the time frame. So the Scribe Tribe, our cohorts are 6 weeks, and I know people here like, oh my god, 6 weeks. Am I really going to get this done? So as I my promise to you is that in 6 weeks, even if you're not done, even if you hadn't got to the finish line, which I don't even think, Jill, you weren't all the way at the finish line at the end
No,
of 6 weeks,
no,
but you've accomplished so much that you don't have a choice but to finish. And you're substantially further than you were when you started if you
absolutely.
do what you're supposed to do. And so I think it was like another 2 or 3 weeks or so, and
Yep.
Jill was done and her book was completed, and we were ready to make it all pretty and create
Yes.
this finished package. And I want to go back to something that she said because this is really key. When she talks about, it's not just about like me, you know, being a drill sergeant or sent, like being a part of the Scribe Tribe is really like showing up so that we can work through everything that is
Yep.
holding you back.
Yep.
So I can remember with this particular group, and I don't even know.
Where'd you go? Okay. I know she gonna be back. Where'd you go? Okay,
Okay, the
that's
devil
okay.
is a liar. He do not want me to talk about this, but that's okay because y'all gonna get this because you need to get this book done. So what I
Yes,
want to
you
say
do.
is that it's like we had instances where people would show up, and I remember there was one week. Like 3 or 4 people were experiencing grief at the same time. Like somebody had died, and I can't just stand up in front of this group and just go on as business as normal, because people are hurting, people are grieving. So we had to stop in that moment and deal with that, because
Hmm.
obviously this is going to affect your ability to pour out, to write, to progress. And so in those moments, we come together, we pray. Y'all, now let me tell
Yes,
y'all know we gonna pray. Now it's gonna be some praying. So if you don't want to pray, don't sign up for the scratch trap, because at some point we're going to pray. We're gonna pray in, we're gonna pray out, and
that's
in
right.
this moment, we're gonna pray to cover those, to ask God to help those who were hurting in that moment. And so I want to let you know that becoming a part of the Scribe Tribe is so much bigger than just you getting your book out. It's really us getting to the bottom of what has held you back, what kept you from writing this book for over a decade. Because another thing that's very important to understand is that when you're trying to pen a book, it's a very cathartic process for you. So
Right.
even if you have healed through the things that you have gone through, like I said, when you write them, that stuff becomes real. It's one thing to talk about it, but when you write something, that's why the Bible says write the vision and make it plain. Because when you
Mhm.
write it down, it becomes real. That thing
Yes.
becomes tangible. You can see it.
Hmm.
We just talking, those are words, and our words are powerful, our words carry weight. But when you write that thing down, it
That's right.
becomes real. You can actually touch it, you can see it, you can feel it. And so writing out what you've been through is a very cathartic process, and it hurts. Sometimes it hurts. I love to, one of our mantras,
Yes.
you guys, you've been around me for a while, you've heard me say this with Empower Moments when we used to write years ago. I would always tell the ladies, when it hurts to write, WRITE, you've got
Hmm.
it right.
That's right.
RIGHT, because those are the things that are going to reach other people, as Jill said earlier. Those are the things that other people need to hear, those transparent moments. Yeah, we show our highlight reel, and that's beautiful, but it's also, how did we get to the highlight?
Right.
How did we get to this moment? What did I have to trudge through to get here? So, with that, I just want to share that you guys may have seen it, but if not, we have a summer cohort beginning June 28th. I'm super excited about this. If you have been saying that you want to write a book, or if you know somebody else who has been saying this, that they want to write a book, and I know we all know somebody. I know we have all heard somebody say that, if it's not ourselves, that they want to write a book. This is where they need to be. I am so excited to just share this formula. I didn't make this up. I just feel like it's what God has given me, and I worked it for myself. I
It's
just
proven.
completed.
It's
It's
proven.
proven, proven.
It's
Let me
proven.
let
I'm
me tell
telling
y'all
y'all,
something.
it's proven.
Let me tell y'all something. I just, and this is like the first time I'm saying this out loud. I won't give you too much information because I try to, hold stuff close, real ninjas move in silence. But I just completed, I guess you can call it a stage production. It's a collection of monologues, right?
Yeah.
And I'm still waiting on all my feedback. I sent it to all my professional friends, and I'm checking in this week to get the feedback. But
Oh, snap.
you know how I completed it? And let me tell you, I procrastinated on that thing too. And I was a month past my deadline, but I completed it following the same formula that I give in these Scribe Tribe cohorts.
Yeah.
Following the same thing. You got to be intentional. You got to be intentional about the timing. You got to make sure that you're carving out that space, creating that environment. You're pushing past. You're putting down writer's block, because I teach in the class that's just
There's no
that's a
such
lie.
thing.
It's not even real. Writer's block is not even real. I know we've been conditioned to believe it's real, and I'm probably challenging your beliefs right now, but that's good. I want to challenge you in your beliefs because I want you to get this thing done. So we're
Yep.
starting the summer cohort. It starts June 28th. It runs through July. Let me tell you, check. July 26th. It's 6 weeks. We meet once a week on Wednesday evening, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Now, here's the thing: we got in person and we got virtual. In
Oh,
person and virtual. So if you're here in the Chicagoland area, I'm so excited to be back. I love to touch people. I want to be in your face. But if you can't do that, then join virtually. Okay. So I'm going to drop the link in the chat in a moment. But know that we have payment plans. So you ain't got to shut off that money at one time. Look, it's
nope.
graduation season for me. So I know, okay, that money might be a little tight, you don't have to shut out all that money at one time. We also have, I'm so super excited about this, a bestie bundle. So you can grab a friend, because I believe in accountability. Like, things are easier. That's why I describe tribe is so important, because when you get along, and you link up with like-minded people, it's easier to get the job done, because you're encouraging one another. So if you got a friend, or a co-worker, or your daughter, or your sister, or your brother, or whoever, and you guys like, we've been wanting to do this, we want to write, then you guys can sign up together, and you save,
Oh, that's
sign up
cool.
together. Yes. So I'm super excited. So what do you get with the Scribe Tribe? So I'm just gonna read it right off the flyer that we already shared. I'm share it again, but you get weekly 60-minute group trainings, and that's where we kind of go over. We talk about kind of the mechanics of writing. I really help you to get out of just basic writing and get to a place where you're creatively writing and engaging the readers and all of their senses. We do some exercises. We spend time actually writing in class, so that
Yep.
we can, you can get feedback. You do get an individual strategy session. So I meet individually with each one of the participants in the cohort, and we go through and we talk about what it is that is holding you back. What do you need? How, like, I answer any questions. We do that. We also provide professional guidance and feedback. So you submit where you are, like at our 3-week check-in, you submit your work, and I kind of look it over and see, okay, this is where you looks like you're on the right track. Maybe you want to pull back here and dive a little bit deeper in here. So really just kind of helping to keep you on the right track, so you don't get too far off and have to scrap everything. Even though we don't scrap anything, and we'll talk about that in the class, we don't scrap anything, because this thing is not going to let me be great. But we and then you also have the peer support and accountability. So with that, if you guys are interested in joining, I promise you, if you need help getting your story out, the Scribe Tribe will help you to do that. I'm super excited. You can write your book in 45 days or less. I can guarantee that if you work this, it will work for you. So I'm going to drop the link in the chat, and then I'm going to bring Jill back on. And Jill,
Mhm.
I want you to share how they can find a copy of your book, A Good Conversation About Life and Food.
Well, one of the perks of being a member of the Scribe Tribe is that you get help all the way through. So you can actually purchase my book a lot of places. You can purchase my book on Amazon, on BAM Books, on bambooks.com, barnesandnoble.com, or on my website at Signature Taste by Jelian. That's JELIAN.com. Where did she go? We lost her again.
So did you guys hear that? You get help all the way through to the end. So now that's an additional cost, and we'll talk about that. But you
Right.
can get help all the way through to the end. So when she got her book done, you can choose. Once you get done, you get that book written. You can take it and you can choose to self-publish, or you can choose to do so, or you can say, "Hey, I don't want to do any of that. I need your assistance." And we will walk you all the way through. We call it our paper to publishing package. And so it takes you all the way through the process until you have a book in hand, until your
Mhm.
book is distributed on all of those
Yes.
platforms, like she just said.
Yes.
If you go
Yes.
look her up, you go search any, you can just go to Google and search A Good Conversation
Yeah.
About Life and Food, and you'll see her on Barnes and Nobles and Books a Million and Walmart and Amazon and all these places. So I really encourage you to please support her. This is not just about the Scribe Tribe. This is about you being introduced to independent authors who are doing some amazing things, who you may not hear about, but you need to you need to read their stories. And in this case, you need to cook this good food. Okay. So,
Thank
any
you.
last things you want to share, Chef? I said we were going to be 30 minutes, and we are like at the 29 minutes. We are right on time. Anything you want to share before we go?
I just want to thank God for your vision. and for how he has put this in your life to help us. I think that in the scribe tribe, I think that what you walk away from is so much more than a book. And if you dedicate yourself to it, it's absolutely liberating. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for this opportunity and everything that you've done and continue to do. Because now I'm on my self-made book tour and speaking engagements. I'm telling y'all,
Tell
like,
us about that. Give us some information.
well, you can catch me June the 24th at the Peoria Civic Center doing the Indie Author Expo. I will be August the 5th at the Soulful Book Fair. I will be at the, I don't know, it's a lot of them. They are all listed on my website. It's a lot of dates.
Here,
So
I'm
just
gonna
catch
type
me
the
out. Just make sure
signature.
you subscribe.
I'm putting her website into the chat. Guys, please go check her out.
Thank you
Signature
so
Tapes
much.
by Jelian.com. Like she said, you can find her book there and you can follow all the amazing stuff she's doing. Because look, she on a worldwide tour. Did y'all hear
Yes.
that? Homegirl is on a tour. All
Yes.
because she pushed this book out. All right.
That's
So if
right.
you got a book and you ready to push it out, holla at your girl. I promise you this thing will work if you do
It
the
will.
work. I'm excited to stand alongside you and say, push, boy, push, girl, push. If you guys did not know, let me just say this last thing. I am anointed as a midwife. I'm not a medical midwife, but I can help you push and birth out some stuff. So I'm
Hmm.
grateful. Thank you so much, Jill, for sharing that. I'm grateful that God has blessed me in that area, and I'm excited to go on this journey with you. So I encourage you to sign up. We will be closing registration next week. So do not delay. As I said, there are payment plans on there and there are group discounts. I look forward to serving you. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Jill, for
Thank
joining me.
you.
It's
Thank
always a
you for
pleasure
having
to
me.
to you.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I look, I'm gonna try to see where I can get in on the tour and come check you out. It's always
Yes,
a
ma'am.
pleasure.
Thank you, my
Have a
love.
good evening, guys.
You
Thank
too. Good
you.
night.